Good morning, YouTube. What's up? Today is January 28th, 2019. I'll try and knock out this watch list for today out as quick as possible. But let's quickly talk about the recap from the last video that I posted. One of the stocks I called out was Tesla. And actually, I spoke about the weekly chart, how this stock, every single time it comes into a pivotal point of the 200-day moving average, it catches a run up. So here it is, catching a run up. Here it is coming back into this point, catching a run up. Again, catching a run up, and it was coming back into this point on Thursday. So if we look at where it came down to on Thursday, it actually opened up and it dropped. It opened up at a price level of 283.03 and dropped down this little shit, went all the way down to the lows of 279.28. And then once it came down to that level, you know, around that area where I drew this red line off the weekly, it didn't get all the way down to 272, but it got close and it went down to 279. It began to run, and now this stock is currently at 297. That's right, follow me, bitches. All right, so just kidding, guys, just kidding. But that's some good move right there. You know, from 278 or 279.28. Up to 297.04, and this stock still has room to move up to 309. You know, that was my initial profit target. I mean, I like it, baby. Like, that's what I was talking about. That was that move that I was talking about. I don't like necessarily trading Tesla, but I do like trading this setup, and that's the reason why I took it last week, and I made some buku bucks. All right, so let's talk about today. Let's talk about the S&P 500, the SPY. The SPY for this morning. You know, we closed out off the S&P 500 at 265. So I'm making this video at 3 a.m. right now, so you fuckers can all watch this shit come pre-market. Because I am mostly a swing trader, so I'll probably be sleeping while you guys are trading. But no, I shouldn't say that. I actually will be up monitoring this shit. So the S&P 500 closed out at 265.78. Just make sure you guys check your pre-market intraday time frames on the 1 minute and 5 minute come pre-market. They may go down. They may go up. Who knows? Futures currently right now are holding levels modestly, but they have fallen just a little bit. It's just something to make note of, and you guys just to be aware of. I feel like we may have some continued action up to this point. Now it's at 265.78. I feel like we can move up to this 267.21, like up from where it's at to this resistance point if we don't, if we don't start selling off once we're on the open. You know, if we do, you know, we may go down if we begin to sell off and then catch a bounce back up. But if we immediately start buying up, I think we're going to hit some resistance around this area. I feel like we will close red today, folks, but you know, we'll just have to watch. You know, if we begin to push, you know, just keep in mind that our government shutdown has been resumed temporarily until the 15th of February, so that may or may not have something to do with today's action. But we are getting to that point where we're retesting this level at the 267, so we actually want to push. But if we begin to get rejected, then, you know, so be it. Let's talk about stocks on watch for today. So RMD is actually on my watch list today. Now, people are like, what the fuck are you watching? How the hell do you even watch these stocks? Well, I have my way of picking out my stocks. Most people use a scanner. I use, you know, Investors Business Daily. I use different websites. I use scanners too to find stocks, but I don't specifically like this chart off the daily, but off the weekly, we had this sell-off that occurred on Friday, and you guys can see that it actually pulled all the way down to this 100-day moving average line. Now, support on this is 93.99. This is the weekly chart, so come Friday, we actually sold off to the low of 94.24 before closing out at 94.56, where it's currently at right now. So if I were to enter into this right now, I would be entering at the lows of support around the 93 level, you know, right here above this green line, and placing my stop below this green line. However, I wouldn't be surprised come today pre-market this stock begins to actually start edging up a little bit higher because people are wanting to buy it. The last time it was actually down here at this 100-day moving average was November 7th of 2017. So I do like to buy and go long in swings, short term, off of oversold stocks with, you know, moderate to good fundamentals. Now, the better the fundamentals, the more likely and longer I will be, you know, open to holding the trade. But off of a quick dip buy, this actually has some room to move to about 94 to 100, or actually it's at 94 right now. I'm sorry, back to 97 to about 100. That's where I would be taking my profit for today. Now, if I did look to hold this baby, if it was actually getting some good momentum, I would be open to holding this stock. Maybe till the end of the week to about 103 price target mark, just because I see it getting bought back up. But I'd be looking to take profit along, the $98, $97 marks, $100 marks, and then, lastly, the $103 marks. So it is something that I am watching. Next stock that I will be on watch will be McDonald's. Now, I fucking hate the way this chart looks right now. I hate the way its daily is. I just hate everything about it. But the one thing that I do like about it is that you guys heard me talk about it in my last video, that it looked like it was prone for a breakout. It did close out and break above its base. It had resistance right here. And on the previous day when I gave you guys the last recap or stocks on watch list, this stock actually closed up higher. So I was actually in this stock at 186, and then the next day it ended up running to 187, 188, all the way to a high of 189. I sold my shares at 188, and then it's dropped all the way down on Friday to 184. So I like this stock for a quick day trade in its current position. It's currently at 184. That we may catch a bounce for a quick $1 move or $2 move, but keep in mind that our S&P 500 is getting to that 267 mark, so we may get some resistance right there. Not to mention, McDonald's is listed on the Dow. So if we type in the Dow Jones Index right now, off of our daily last Friday, we're sitting at a topping tail and also a gravestone. Some people like to call that shit a gravestone. So this actually can make it pivot more down to the downside. If we don't automatically open up on the market and start selling off, I'll be kind of wary about it. Once we get around that 267 pivot level off the S&P 500, it will be interesting to watch how the market performs there, simply because our government's opening up. But there's other news coming out as well too. The main news about it is that off of the main reason why I would take this off of a trade and be interested in it at all is simply because they're reporting earnings this Wednesday, and I wouldn't be buying ahead of earnings to play into earnings. No, I'd be buying this off the dip, because at some point between now and Wednesday, I feel like this is going to get bought up by the dumb fucks who actually want to play this thing into earnings because they hear rumors about it having a 6% beat off their earnings, which is true. Now, I do like McDonald's as a stock overall. I think they're great. I have them in my long-term investment account. They pay like $1.08 dividends off per share off a quarterly basis. It might be actually higher now, but it's just something that I'm looking towards, just getting in for a quick in and out, because I feel like this will eventually retest back come Wednesday. Our market may pull back a little bit more today. If it breaks the support level, I'll be looking to get in at it off the 182.03 level, support the 20-day moving average. If it doesn't bounce off immediately, I'd be really interested in around this 176 level. But I know between now and Wednesday, I've played this before. So this stock is going to make a turn either today or tomorrow, and I'll be looking to get in just for a quick in and out to sell for the fuckers who actually want to buy my shit off me. All right, so next stock I have on list that I actually am in is a quick swing that I took last Friday. It's called Starbucks, and this stock actually last Friday, if we look at the big picture off Investors Business Daily, and this is one of the things I actually just use. Most people read the Wall Street Journal. I like to read Investors Business Daily. But last Friday, off the market pulse, the leaders in value on Friday, Starbucks was listed as one of them. Now, it's not the main reason why I took this stock as a swing position, but one of the main reasons why I took this as a huge opportunity to kind of swing this, because I saw a huge buyer off the level 2. I actually made some money off Starbucks. I took an initial 600 shares. I sold 150 of them for about a $200 profit. I'm still holding 450 in a profit, but I feel like this thing can edge higher. Why? So let's talk about it. Although the market may edge down lower today, I feel like this market wants to continue to grind up higher later on into this week. Starbucks last week got some nice value after their earnings. I really got in because I saw a huge 25,000 share buyer, like I said, off the level 2, and the stock decided to move to the upside. The main reason why I really got into this is because of the weekly chart. Now, if we look at this right here, the weekly chart actually closed out with a nice hammer. And also, what's in alignment with this, the monthly chart. The monthly chart is also in a nice hammer. So around 8 a.m., 9 a.m., I was looking at this stock, and it really didn't impress me too much. But I started doing a little bit more research on it, and I actually found out that there's a price target I had in mind because I looked back at the larger time frame, and I really felt, I think this stock can actually push if we get a nice momentum move in the market. We can actually push a little bit higher to the 69 mark, to 70, possibly 72 or higher. But keep in mind, some news came out over the weekend. The CEO, I guess, wants to run for president in 2020 because he makes horrible coffee, maybe. But I'm just kidding. But that is true, though. The CEO does want to run for president in 2020. It also received some increased price target hikes from analysts from Oppenheimer and also another analyst from Benzinga Pro, I guess, somewhere off the map. I actually price targeted this stock for 70 to 72. So I'll be in this bitch to the profit target of 69 to 70. That's where I want to take this mother sucker. Currently, I got in at it on 67.04. That's my average price with my 450 shares I'm still holding right now. So I definitely think that sometime during this week, if not today, like I said, I am making this video at 3 a.m. right now. We'll definitely hit that price target. I got an order to sell 450 shares so I can get the fuck out at 68.15, and off of 450 shares, a dollar move. That's about roughly over 500 bucks that I've made off my entire position off of it since I've been selling along the way. So 68.15 is where my first profit target is. However, I definitely feel like we could probably definitely touch 69 to 70 before the end of the week. What else? Let's see. Also, keep in mind, Starbucks has a 97 composite rating. If you guys follow me or subscribe to my channel, you guys know that I like trading good companies with good composite ratings and fundamentals because it gives me a peace of mind when I'm holding something, especially in a shitty market or in any market in general. If you're holding a pretty good company that performs above 97% of other companies, it just gives you a little peace of mind. But the biggest news on this baby is that that came out is in China. They currently have 2,800 stores in China, and they want to expand to 4,500 by the end of this year. And also another piece of information that's coming out is that I guess this Wednesday, Uber Eats will be partnering with their San Diego stores. So this news isn't really important to me all that much, but for the right setup where I'm currently in right now, off this weekly hammer, and with the monthly aligning as well too, this news is exactly the news that I need to kind of give me that push to the profit target where I want to sell my shares at, or a push to the actual profit targets I have in mind. So whether it be this week or this month, I feel like this Starbucks stock can actually edge up and move a little bit higher. All right, another stock that I still have on watch from my previous videos is still this team stock, and why? It's because it's just retesting those levels. It's holding good levels. It's on the stock spotlight list off of IBD. When I pull this bitch up off of Investors Business Daily, it's the first stock to show up off the stock spotlight list. And you guys keep hearing me in my past 2 or 3 videos reiterate that this stock wants to break out. And I've been selling this bitch up and down, left and right. I'm sorry, guys, for my vulgar language, but I just feel like it kind of keeps you guys a little bit entertained, but I'll clean it up a little bit. So I feel like, this stock can definitely want to move. Now, we have a resistance level at 96.97, but if we touch that and we break through that, which is highly likely, I definitely feel like we can definitely touch this or retest this 100, this 100 price target mark right here. So I'm still holding on to 300 shares. Every single time we get up to this resistance point, I'm selling, about 25 to 50% of my shares, and I'm reloading back in when it dumps back down. So I feel like the stock really wants to retest this 100-day mark, and that's the only reason why I'm holding on to it. Also to note that it's still on the stock spotlight list as listed as #1 stock, getting ready to break out. So you guys know me. I'm not really into buying stocks that are prone for a breakout, but in this case, I'm just buying to support, selling to resistance. I keep doing that until it actually retests my level of getting back to that price target of 100. And it's a safe trade. You know, I've been holding it for a while. It's pretty safe to me. I like it. Another stock that I'm watching is Intel. Now, I fucking hate this daily chart just the way I hated Tesla. But, you know, I banked freaking 4 or 5 grand off of Tesla that day. Actually, I'm sorry, 7.9 grand off of Tesla that day. So I'm going to give you this piece of information right here where I'm watching this stock right now. I really want to be interested in it until it came into my levels of 44.84. And we're talking about Intel right here. Now, I'm looking at this stock right now off the weekly chart, and we closed below the moving averages, the 50, the 20, the 9-day moving averages off the weekly. We closed below them. If our S&P 500, we're getting close to that 267 mark, our Dow Jones is also sitting with the topping tail. There's a likelihood that we could possibly pull back, and if we do pull back, I feel like we can definitely get this stock at this price. Now, if I do watch Intel, I'll be looking to get in above this 44.74 mark, entering right here and putting my stop right below it. Now, we may get something like this where the stock actually dips down, you know, but then it immediately gets bought back up. So just keep in mind that it may not be completely accurate, but this is somewhere where you kind of want to keep your key levels in to watch for strong support. So, you know, it's every single time it breaks through these certain support lines, it touched it here, it's bounced, it touched it here, it's bounced, it touched it here, it's bounced, and so forth. When it gets to 100-day moving average, we usually get a nice little jump. So my thing is that I want to really be interested in holding this stock for longer than a simple day trade in and out, or at least 2 to 3 days, because it moves so freaking slow. But you know, off of this baby, if I can get this at 44.74 or 44.84, I'll be looking for a good entry of anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 shares, just for a simple ride up. Maybe a buck or two, a 1 to 2 point move. That's what I'm looking for. But you know, it's one of those stocks that sold off on Friday, so it does have really good fundamentals. There's nothing wrong with it. That's why I really like it, but I only like it if it comes into my zone of buying. And lastly, this piece of shit stock, or I shouldn't say piece of shit stock, but this stock that I'm actually watching is ABBV. We sold off on Friday as well too. Now, looking at the daily chart, I really don't like it. You know, we actually hit a low for the day on Friday at 79.43, but then we immediately got bought back up and closed out at 80.54. Now, if the S&P 500 begins to pull, we could possibly pull back down to 79.43. And then if we break beyond that and pull back even more, we can go down to 77.67. But I'm not a short trader. You know, you fuckers out there know that I'm not a short trader. I don't short trade. Not as much anyways. But I do like it from a long side, though. If it comes into my levels, I may be interested in buying it. You know, really, if it sold off on Friday and it closed up a little bit, if our market begins to push, we could edge up a little bit higher. I wouldn't be surprised if pre-market came around and we started edging up a little bit higher. But I also won't be surprised if we actually start pulling away from the market at that 267 resistance point and start coming down to this 200-day line. This is where I'd be looking and interested in getting in, roughly around this area. If we did, you know, come into this area right here, this key support area, I probably wouldn't load too heavily in, simply because the fundamentals are, you know, they just suck, and relative strength is fairly weak. But I mean, it would be a fun play though. You know, very low risk, possible high upside potential, but would be looking into it to get in around, you know, the 77.67 area, or simply the 77.88 area, entering here, putting my stop below here. You know, that's where I'd be interested in most of all. But if it doesn't get there, I'm not really interested in taking it. It used to be a really good stock, you know, back in like this, you know, February and around August time frame, before we dipped down, and before we actually dipped down in March of last year. You know, this stock actually has some really good fundamentals. It was on the watch list a lot. It was on the stock spotlight list, and then I guess it just started sucking. But doesn't mean a stock doesn't have hope for the rest of life. It just means that I probably just won't buy it and trade the shit out of it. So that's why it's the last on my list today. But for anybody who wants to take it, by all means, if you see a opportunity, then go ahead and play it. But these are the stocks I'm watching on the list today, and you know, that's it, folks. So come back, give you guys a recap next video, and if I find anything else for the rest of the week, I'll be sure to point it out to you guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.